Welcome back to Shandy's Sacred Space. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. I am really looking forward to sharing not one or two, but 3 birth stories. My name is Shandy Temperato, and this is Shandy's Sacred Space. I love to help mamas identify the specific areas in their life that need healing and growth in order to help them become the mama that God created them to be. And currently, I have a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So my hands are very full, but my heart remains fuller. And I didn't create this YouTube channel because I have it all figured out, but rather I created this YouTube channel because I'm determined to figure it out one day at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time, and 1 season at a time. Just when you figure something out, there's something else to be figured out. And I'm so excited to share my birth stories with you because I think there is so much to be learned between all 3 of them. They're very different and unique. So 4 years ago, my husband and I found out that I was pregnant. We were very excited and we were very new to all of this. Obviously, you find out you're pregnant, you're excited. My first pregnancy went really well. I didn't feel like I was that sick. I had, slight nausea, but I never vomited. I was able to eat throughout my whole pregnancy. And then right around 40 weeks, I think I was 39 weeks in a few days, I went in for an ultrasound and they looked at the baby. They said she looked great and everything was fine. The ultrasound tech, she left the room and came back maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, and she said, now I want you to, remain calm, but we're going to send you to the hospital to be induced because your baby looks small. Now, I will say this as graciously as I can because I know so much more now than I did then. But if I knew everything back then that I know now, I would have never let them induce me. From my experience, having 3 babies in 3 years, you do not need to be induced unless you're past 42 weeks and there is like a true medical emergency. I am pretty sure that the statistics say most women will give birth around 41 weeks. And so I didn't know everything back then that I know now. And my husband and I, we packed our bags, we went to the hospital. I was induced, and unfortunately, I wasn't progressing as well as I needed to, and I got an epidural, and my baby girl, her heart rate kept dipping. Before I know it, I'm being wheeled into the OR to have an emergency C-section because her heart rate kept dipping. I remember I was very calm because they told me that my baby was okay, so I was very calm. I was just, waiting to see my baby. So they took me into the OR. They had to dress my husband, the white gown, and they wheeled me in and I had a C-section. Now everything went as well as it possibly could have. The doctors were fantastic. The hospital took really great care of me. But it's just unfortunate that needed to happen. I'm very thankful to God, and I've chosen to let go of all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and just be thankful that my emergency C-section went well. My baby girl was healthy. I was okay. My body healed well. But if I'm being honest, looking back, it is quite frustrating because I don't think that needed to happen. And I wish I knew just to say, no induction, I will wait, because my baby girl was fine. She was 6 pounds and 13 ounces. She was not too small. Oftentimes the ultrasounds aren't even that accurate. So anyways, we have this beautiful baby girl. She's healthy, she's doing well. She didn't nurse for me, so I did pump for her for around 6 months, and then I supplemented with formula. So when my baby girl was 5 months old, sweet little baby, 5 months old, we found out that I was pregnant. When I found out I was pregnant when my baby was only 5 months old, initially I was sad. I was so happy that there was a baby in my belly, and I was so happy and thankful that we're about to have another baby, but I was of course sad because I felt robbed. I felt like I couldn't give my all to my baby because I was pregnant. When I got pregnant with my second, that was during COVID. And later on in my pregnancy, I don't remember the specific month, but I was really sick for like 7 to 10 days. So that was very difficult. And since we didn't want to be induced and we didn't want to work with a hospital and go through everything we went through with my first baby girl, we decided to work with a wonderful midwifery, FICA, and we had a great experience. It was tough because we had to commute. There was quite a drive to commute there for my appointments. But this is the best birth story, and this is what I'm excited to share. So with my first baby, I was induced right before 40 weeks. And then with my second baby girl, 40 weeks came and went. 41 weeks came and went. I was 41 weeks and 6 days pregnant. And my midwife encouraged me to take castor oil. So I mixed my castor oil with a naked smoothie, ginger ale, and peanut butter, and I think the point of that was just to make it not taste so bad, and you honestly couldn't even taste the castor oil. So I took one serving in the morning, waited a few hours, took another serving. The point of taking castor oil is it gives you really bad diarrhea, and then when you have diarrhea, it can start contractions. And if you look it up, it has really great results. I can't encourage you enough to avoid being induced and to try castor oil if you're close to 42 weeks and your midwife is aware of it. The hospital and like the OBs may be more leery, but if you have a midwife, I think they're a lot more familiar with the castor oil. So nothing was happening. I had really bad diarrhea, and then later that evening around 5 p.m. I felt something, and we went for a walk. We put our baby down, I took a shower, and by 7, 8 o'clock, I knew that they were contractions. Now I was home. I had the lights dimmed. I had, like lights around my ceiling. I had my very peaceful Christian hypnobirthing app playing. She read beautiful scriptures, and the music was very calming. And so my husband was with me in the living room, and I was just pacing and laying on the couch and working through my contractions. And for a few hours, that's what I did. And then closer to, I think, 10 p.m., 10:30, I started making these really loud sounds. Like when I would have a contraction, I would make this really loud sound, like a hollering. And so I remember coming in the kitchen, this kitchen that I'm in right now, and I was like kind of hovering over the counter, working through my contractions, and blood trickled down my leg. And so once my husband saw the blood trickle, he got the hospital bags, he got our 1-year-old, packed us up, and we got in the Jeep. Now, when I was walking outside trying to get into the Jeep to go to the hospital, we decided to go to the hospital because the hospital was about 10, 12 minutes away, and we knew we weren't going to make it to the midwifery house that was over an hour away, so we just went to the hospital. But as I was walking to the Jeep, I was obviously working through contractions, and they were very close at that point. And so it's just so funny looking back, as I remember standing by the door, and my husband's like, get in the car, babe, get in the Jeep, babe. But I had to wait for the contraction, So I am on my hands and knees, facing the back. My husband's driving us to the hospital, and like I said, the hospital is like 10, 12 minutes away. And as we are pulling in to the hospital, I feel her head come out, and her body comes out right after, and I just kind of hold her and sit down. As we pull into the parking lot, it was amazing. I was not stressed out. I was not overwhelmed. I was not fearful. Everything happened so peacefully. And like when I saw her and held her, she looked beautiful. Like she looked phenomenal. She was crying. She looked like a healthy baby. And so even though those last 2 weeks of my pregnancy were extremely difficult, right? Because I felt like something was wrong with my body. God, why can't I just give birth to my baby? God blessed me with a once in a lifetime. God blessed me with the once in a lifetime opportunity to hold my baby girl for the first minute of her life with no one around. Because when I was holding her, obviously my husband went into the hospital to get the doctors, And it was just amazing. It was beautiful. And so now I'm so passionate about pregnancy. You don't have to do all these unnecessary procedures that the hospital often requires. From my experience, and I know everyone else is different, this is just my story. You do not need to be induced. If you are a healthy woman and your baby is healthy, you can wait up till 42 weeks to give birth. The research says most women give birth around 41 weeks. So if you want a natural birth, you can absolutely fight for that. And I can't encourage you enough to find a midwife that knows what you want and is willing to monitor you and is willing to let your body do what it was created to do. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I had an unassisted, unmedicated VBAC, vaginal birth after C-section, 14 months after my baby girl was born. My first daughter was born February 3rd, and my second daughter, who was the VBAC, was born March 22nd. If that doesn't show you that our bodies are miraculously made by God to give birth, I don't know what could. Just phenomenal, amazing. I will forever be thankful that God gave me that opportunity. So when our oldest was 2 and our youngest was 1, we found out I was pregnant with our third baby. Zalia, hey, what's in mommy's belly?
Mommy Baya.
What's in mommy's belly?
Mommy Baya.
What's in mommy's belly?
Mommy Baya.
There's a baby in mommy's belly?
Yeah, you're both big sisters.
And obviously we were very excited and very curious if it would be a boy or a girl. Now that pregnancy was very difficult just because I had a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. It was exhausting, it was very difficult. If you have family nearby, if you have friends nearby, if you have a nanny, if you can hire a nanny, get all the help you can get, especially when you have little ones and you're pregnant. So anyways, I decided to work with the hospital again because I knew everything I learned throughout the last, 2 births, and I didn't want to have to drive over an hour for my appointments. And I knew that I would labor at home for as long as I could and then go in when I was ready. So on December 25th, Christmas Day, I went into labor naturally, and I was 41 weeks and I think 5 days, very long pregnancy. So I went into labor around probably 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, and I knew it was labor. And then I got my husband around midnight when they were very intense. We went to the hospital about 3 o'clock in the morning. And what makes me really frustrated is when I went to the hospital and I went to get a room, it was so evident and clear that I was in labor, that I was having contractions. And the hospital will not admit you into your own room unless you let them do an ultrasound and check your dilation. I understand that is their protocol and I can respect that, but I was clearly in labor and I just wanted them to get me to my room. So that was super frustrating. I let them do the ultrasound to make sure the baby's head down, and I let them check me. I told them not to tell me. I said, if you check me, I do not want to know. I don't need to know, like I'm in the zone right now. And the first doctor who did it couldn't figure it out, and so the next person that came in didn't know that, and I heard her say she's 5 centimeters, and I'm like, oh great, like I'm only halfway there. That was really frustrating. So anyways, they finally get us into a room. They keep bothering me. They want to put a monitor on the belly. They want to give me an IV. And at this point, I'm like, just leave me alone. You can come back when I'm ready, to have this baby. And so we labored in the hospital room for, I want to say about 2.5 hours. We arrived at the hospital around 3 a.m., probably got admitted around 4 a.m., and I gave birth at, I think it was like 5:58, so 6 a.m. in the morning. And with my third baby's birth, I remember I had to get in a position to push. And I was so curious about that because when I was in my Jeep with my second baby girl, I did not push her out. My body did everything. And you remember how I said I started hollering? That's because I was in transition. I didn't realize it then because I was at home. I had no idea what to expect because my first was a C-section. But if you can create this really comfortable environment where you are peaceful and you just trust that your body knows what to do, it's incredible what the body can do. I am going to link a phenomenal book in the description below that I really loved. I can't think of the title of it right now. If you are pregnant with your first baby, I highly recommend hiring a doula, because then your doula can come alongside you and support you in every which way that you need. But for me, from an emergency C-section to an unassisted, unmedicated VBAC to my third birth, I'll tell you that my second birth was so blissful because I was alone and no one was asking me questions. You know, the process to get into the hospital while you're in labor is ridiculous. No wonder women, you know, get stressed out and overwhelmed and don't progress. It's because they're being asked questions and required to do all these things while they're in labor. That is not helpful. When you enter into labor, you want to do everything you can to mentally, emotionally, and especially spiritually be in this place of trusting that God is doing everything, you know, that He's going to comfort you, but that your body is doing everything that it needs to do to have a baby, to get that baby out. It is truly amazing. And if I'm being completely honest, if we decide to have another baby, I totally want to try and have a home birth. I hope you understand my heart in this, because I respect every woman and I respect every mama and what makes them feel comfortable. Maybe you feel most comfortable in the hospital, and that is great. That's fine. I'm just saying, from my experience, all the things that I had to go through at the hospital were not helpful. And I'm definitely more of the hands off, let my body do what it needs to do, and if I need help, then I'll reach out. So please let me know if you have any questions, if you want any resources. Like I said, I will put the Christian hypnobirthing app that helped me. I'll put that in the description below. I'll put any books that really helped me. I have some phenomenal books, great resources. And I think there's a website where you can look up doulas, wherever your state is. Doulas are fantastic. They're more so helping women during the birth, you know, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, where the OBs and the midwives are more, you know, what's happening in the body. So that was very helpful. I so hope that you enjoyed hearing these birth stories. God has been so good. He has been so faithful, and it is just mind-boggling to me that I have a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. Please like, subscribe, share with any other mama that you think would be encouraged hearing these birth stories and what God can do. And I will see you in the next video.
Oh, you want to hold him? Okay, we can do that. I walked in the house and she goes, "Baby boy." Yeah, I thought you guys would miss me, but you wanted to see the baby, huh? We can get him out. Let me get him out, okay? Get him out. Hi. Daddy. He's really little, so you gotta be nice and gentle. See? Oh, nice and gentle.
Hezekiah.
Yes, that's right, honey. That's right. Okay, open up. Open up. You might cry, okay? You might cry. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Can you put your hands up? Put your hands up like that. There. Ready? He wants this too. Okay. See? There. There you go. He wants you. So he wants to eat. He's gonna eat like Rhea did. What do you think? They don't know what to say, huh? What do you think? What do you think, Ray? What do you think?
Hezekiah.
Oh, you want to hold the binky? Just gotta hold it real nice. No, you gotta put it in. He likes to suck on it. So just gotta hold it in your mouth. There we go. He's hungry. Mommy's gonna have to go in the living room, and Mommy's gonna have to feed him, okay?